army officer can never be trusted. And in that sense, what I'm trying to say is that Indian Army, for that matter, or Assam Rifles, you cannot allege that they are biased against the Kukis. I think it is, I mean, there is no hesitation in saying that the Prime Minister, or for that matter, the people in power, uh, are not at all interested in bringing peace or otherwise solving the problem of Manipur. People in power, it also includes the leader of the opposition party and those in opposition. Why I say this is because it is very, very crystal clear that when the result of the election came and the BJP did not get a thumping victory, but rather it gave more impetus and strength to the opposition party. We were happy and glad that to a certain extent the opposition party will take up at least the case of Manipur, or otherwise speak in the parliament for that matter, and then actually try and address the issue, giving pressure to the ruling government.
Welcome all to Dent News. Today we are with Lalboy Doungel. Lalboy Doungel is Vice President of KSO, and Lalboy Doungel is a academician, about to be an academician, and is now a research scholar. He is doing his PhD in education at the National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, NIEPA, New Delhi. His main research interests are universalization of elementary education, right to education of the tribals, inclusive education, access and participation, and sociology of education. He is an alumni of Delhi School of Economics, Department of Sociology. Additionally, he has 3 years of experience working in the publication division of NCRT in New Delhi as an assistant editor. And as I rightly introduced himself, he is the vice president of the Kuki Students Organization, Delhi and NCR at the moment. So welcome Lalboy Doungel to Dent podcast.
Thank you very much, Sheikh, for having me.
Yeah. So viewers, please like, share, and subscribe, and remember our tagline: democratize your nation today. So we are with someone who works at the grassroots to maintain democracy, understand democracy, and understand access to democracy through education. And he is also a sociology student. So I will ask him some tricky questions about sociology also. Okay. So let's start. So first and foremost, your press conference is successful. KSO did a press conference where they called out Kuldeep Singh, and Kuldeep Singh has rightly been taken back, or if I may say it, Kuldeep Singh was caught between the deep blue sea and the fire, and the KSO have come out with flying colors. The narrative of 900 Kuki, so-called Kuki militants of Myanmar coming to attack Manipur is totally false. The Indian Army has called it out also. So how does it feel to be on the right side at a short notice?
It feels great in the first place, in the sense that in the very first place, we know that these allegations are false, and that is why we have vehemently come against that allegation, because we know that these are mere propagandas to actually divert and deviate what actually is pertinent to be addressed by the media, and also the citizens concerned actually on the audio tape leak of Chief Minister Biren Singh. So yes, like I said, we feel that this is the right thing to do, and we are proud that what we claim has come to be true.
Is there any particular action that KSO is going to take for Biren Singh? Because the Biren tapes are in the news for a long time and no one has actually picked it up. National media, or I can say Godi media, hasn't picked it up also. And there was Major Muhammad Ali Shah here, whose video we haven't yet released, but I'm saying in this video, he has said that it hasn't been verified yet. So how can we utilize it, or say something on it? My point is very simple, that if it is not the voice of Biren Singh, then why is Biren Singh not doing an investigation and making his name clear? Also, we see the PA of a particular minister was kidnapped, so as
Right.
to make sure, just deviate the issue in a different way. And he has been now sent to Delhi, and he is under protection of Indian government in Delhi, and he is away from Meitei police also. So how, what is like a Kuki students organization going to do regarding Viren teams? Are you going to investigate it? Are you doing like file a court case?
I think not just Kuki Students Organization in particular, but also the Kuki INP and Kuki Human Rights have taken up the issue, and we have submitted a petition to Azay Lamba Commission, if I'm not mistaken. And the commission is actually following up the case. And right now we are waiting, actually waiting. So whether the Kuki Students Organization or the Kuki community per se should prove that that audio leak was of Chief Minister Biren Singh or not is actually not subject to address, because we have those in authority, those particular uh, in charge, who are actually mandated to actually prove whether that was really false or otherwise not that of Chief Minister Biren Singh. So our for us, we are convicted that is that of Chief Minister Biren Singh, and that he should be prosecuted as per the law of the land. That is what we stand by and we fought for.
Yeah, I agree. So, one particular narrative that has been pushed against the Assam Rifles is that Assam Rifles is too lenient on cookies. They are pro-cookie. So, will you say they are pro-cookie, or they're just doing their job and they're being secular Indians and just doing whatever they have to do so that the cookies don't get annihilated by the Meiteis?
Thank you for asking the question. I want to draw you to one particular incident wherein, towards the beginning of the violence um, in Sugnu area,
Mm,
where
mm,
Sugnu area was razed to the ground that day. Prior to the onset of that violence, the Kuki people have been raising this concern that there is a commander that belonged to the Meitei community in the Assam Rifles, right?
mm,
And but nobody paid heed to that demand to actually transfer him from the vicinity. And eventually, what happened? The damage was huge, uh, because the Assam Rifles, under the command of the Meitei army officer, can never be trusted. And in that sense, what I'm trying to say is that Indian Army, for that matter, or Assam Rifles, you cannot allege that they are biased against the cookies, because, like you said, you also stated they're doing their job, and they're being neutral. But there are stray incidences wherein the Kuki people also, we have alleged that the Assam Rifles are even biased towards the Meiteis, because you see, last year in one of the incident where 12 terrorists were apprehended by the Assam Rifles, if you
mm,
remember.
mm, mm,
And what happened? The Meira Paibis, they snatched those terrorists away
mm,
from the Assam Rifles
mm,
and uh, took them to safety. So, in
mm,
that sense, when Assam Rifles, towards the beginning of the violence in May, in Churachandpur, in an incident, actually shot dead one of our Kuki lady.
mm.
I
Nurse.
don't I don't recall the name, but
She
uh,
was a nurse.
yes, he was a nurse, and she was shot
Mm,
dead by the Assam Rifles.
mm,
And there are other incidences even in Moray where women were actually um, run over by Assam Rifle.
Casper. Mm,
Yes, Casper. So there are incidences wherein actually the casualty is being paid more
mm,
heavily by the Kuki people from the
mm,
Assam Rifles than the Meiteis.
mm,
So in that
mm,
sense, the Meitei allegation that the Assam Rifles are for the Kukis or biased
mm.
towards the Kukis is actually null and
Ro-
void. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
we shouldn't buy what,
Mm,
what the Meiteis alleged in that
mm,
sense.
mm,
Instead, the Kuki have the right to say, because from those incidences that have happened in Imphal,
mm,
that the Assam Rifles are actually biased towards the Meiteis. But we didn't do
mm,
that. We didn't do that because we believe that
mm,
uh, these stray incidences are out of control at times,
mm,
and that the Assam Rifles are doing their best to be
mm,
neutral and
mm,
put any sort of violence to
mm,
penetrate in both the uh, in both the zones at
mm,
bay. That is the
mm,
reason why we don't actually allege that the Assam Rifles are biased towards the Meiteis,
mm,
because we believe they are neutral.
mm. Yeah, you talked about Myra Pabi. Okay, Myra Pabi is, they have been presented in a certain way. Their sociology has been presented as a certain way. As a sociology student, where people in India, they try to see the woman as a block. Here we see, Meitei women directly supporting rape and killing of cookies women because they are from a different racial category. This kind of racism within women, have you ever witnessed?
Um, Not really. I think this is one of a kind that is actually taking shape or mushrooming in Manipur. That too coming from the so-called Meirapai bees, because
Mm,
Meirapai bees, for us or for me, as I understood, were the torch barriers of justice,
mm,
and actually they are the ones who right the wrongs within the
mm,
society, and they
mm,
fight against any social ills found within the society,
mm,
particularly in Manipur. But then what we have seen is that in this violence or in this conflict between the Kukis and the Meiteis, the Meira Paibis
That
have
it
taken.
is genocide. Let's not say as conflict. It's
Yes,
genocide of cookies.
that's true. That's true.
Mm,
Thank you
mm,
for reminding me.
mm,
In fact, we have seen the Meira Paibis taking sides and then vehemently, obviously, uh, propagating hate against the cookies, and also openly vouching for annihilation of the cookies, and also particularly to that of women in Imphal Valley. We have also seen the viral video that became viral, where the Meira Paibi says, rape the woman, rape them, kill them, it's up to you. And in
mm,
fact, that is the reason why we have seen a lot of incidences towards the beginning of the violence in the valley. Had the Meira Paibi stood by their integrity, I don't think such incidents, that too of women, will ever
mm.
have had happened uh, in this genocide campaign of the Métis against the Cookies.
Yeah, this brings another question in my mind. That is the question of Rami Desai. She is a woman from mainland India that is vouching for Biren Singh, supporting Meiteis at all cost as a Hindu nationalist, and is speaking ill of our Assam Rifles of Indian Army. How do you see her role? Like, what kind of, like, do you see her as a nuisance to the fire in Manipur?
Yes, Rami Desai, no doubt, is a nuisance in this conflict, or otherwise in this campaign against to annihilate the Kuki people. Being an outsider, she's supposed to be neutral, and that, as she claims to be an expert in the Northeast and
Mm,
understanding of having an understanding of what is called of Northeast, I think she should have stood neutral and vouched for a better pathway, or a better solution that is both conducive for both the communities. But here in this case, we see, like you said, she has time and again come out in support of the Métis, and she has devised old plans, and I don't know, she has done her best to make sure that um, she has whitewashed, you know, She whitewashed, she
Whitewash.
tainted image of the Meitei community wherever
Mm.
she is given the platform. And the
Mm.
recent one being the um, being the uh, being the allegations regarding 900 Kuki militants,
Mm.
infiltrating inside the Indian state of Manipur, and eventually the government of Manipur retracting that claim. And Rami Desai was again standing by the claim made by the Meiteis and also the government of Manipur,
Mm.
without actually trying to address the core issue that this
Mm.
sort of accusations are actually propagandas that should
Mm.
not actually be given the platform to actually uh, deviate us from addressing what is the core issue of the
Mm.
Manipur problem, and also uh, of the uh, audio tape leak that actually was the catch point
Catch
for us
point.
to actually know that
Mm.
this was not just unplanned attack or on
Mm.
unplanned attack, but a pre-planned attack to actually wiped out and annihilate the Kuki community in the state of Manipur. These are, for me, more important. Important points to be addressed, but she has again negated all this and put them behind a veil, instead trying to whitewash what is actually tainted already of the Meitei's allegations and claims they have made against the cookies.
Mm. But Lalboy, no, she is doing what Modi and Amit Shah want her to do. That also we need to understand. She is obviously a planted agent. How do you see Modi's role? Because Modi has gone to Ukraine, but Modi hasn't come to Manipur to address the pain of Kuki brothers and sisters. Do you think that the Prime Minister of India is really concerned about Manipur? Do you think the central dispensation really want peace in Manipur?
I think that is a very critical question to address
Mm.
to me and to anybody, a layman, looking at the violence in Manipur and how it has elongated to more than a year
Mm.
now.
16 months.
Yes, 16 months. I think it is, I mean, there is no hesitation in saying that the prime minister, or for that matter, the people in power,
Mm.
uh, are not at all interested in bringing peace or otherwise solving the problem of Manipur.
Mm.
Because if the prime minister can ignore what is happening under his nose in
Mm.
his own family,
Mm.
and instead take what is that concern
Mm.
about what is happening across the globe
Mm.
overseas, that itself entails that he is not interested in actually dousing the fire
Mm.
in the state of Manipur.
Mm.
Now, whenever the home minister is asked, he will say, wherever he gets the opportunity, that the prime minister is really working on it,
Mm.
and the missionary is after it in order to bring peace in Manipur. But like we said, if at all he is concerned, he could have visited Manipur. It is not. It is not. Say, to travel to Ukraine, you'll take at least 10 to 15 hours, whereas to
Mm.
travel to Manipur, you'd need only 2 hours.
Mm.
So you can see uh, the prime minister has set his priorities. His priority is only to maintain his international image.
Mm.
International image is more important than actually um, solving
Mm.
family dispute that is right here
Mm.
in India.
Yeah. So, since you said something very important, that the people in power are not interested in solving the crisis in Manipur. So, are you in any way pointing towards the opposition also, especially the LOP, who has not raised the issues of Manipur real time? He has gone to Manipur, he has tried to apply some sort of bomb. But are you satisfied by his activities? And especially right now, in the last 3 4 months, he is not found in India. He has not been addressing anything from Manipur. So, are you happy with Rahul Gandhi?
When I say those people in power, it also includes the leader of the opposition party and those
Mm.
in opposition. Why I say this is because it is very, very crystal clear that
Mm.
uh, when the result of the election came and the BJP did not get a thumping victory, but
mm,
rather it gave more impetus and strength to the opposition party. We were happy
mm,
and glad that, yeah, to a certain extent, the opposition party will take up at least the case of Manipur, or otherwise speak in the parliament for that matter, and then
mm,
actually try and address the issue, giving pressure to the ruling government. But what we have seen is that Rahul Gandhi only um, visiting Manipur, and then the follow up is the follow. You have seen the follow up, no follow
yeah,
up, and the
mm,
intention is not very clear. Actually, very clear whether the intent is
mm,
there to really bring in peace. If there is intent, I think from the information that Rahul Gandhi, or for that matter, the opposition party gathered from visiting Manipur, they are
mm,
supposed to actually pour that out in the parliament, in the house of the parliament, in the floor of the parliament, right? But we have not seen that.
mm,
But rather, it
mm,
seemed to me like it has become a political gimmick, and
mm.
Manipur has become, what is that, a pawn, almost like a pawn for both the parties to actually score, what is that, brownie
Brownie
points.
points. Mm.
Yes, there's no intent, really. The real intent is not there, including from the opposition party to actually bring in peace or usher in peace.
Yeah, yeah. Especially like if we see how, what Bimal Akayam says and what is the line taken by Alfred, then there are two contrasting lines, and Bimal Akayam totally supports Biren Singh. Bimal Akayam is an insurance cover for the Meiteis. If there is a rainy day in future, then Bimal Akayam is the guy who is going to save the Meiteis for complete you know annihilation when their like lies would be caught out by the Indian government. It's something like that. This is
Right.
some sort of arrangement. So and I will not ask you, to address that thing because it's very controversial. I will ask you a different question. You stay in Delhi, and cookies have been vilified for consuming beef. This mainland narrative, which is utilized against the Christians, Muslims, or Dalits mainly, and they are lynched. The same narrative has reached Manipur also. So how does it make you feel? Like, does it make you feel vulnerable in Delhi also?
I would agree to what you say. We
Mm,
feel vulnerable.
mm,
Yes. Why I say this is because India is majority Hindu,
mm,
and but then we have the Constitution of India that gives us the freedom and the liberty to actually express ourselves in whatever way we as citizens of India can. And I think that food is also one area where, as a citizen of the country, we express our identity and our culture. For example, these are gastrointestinal needs,
mm,
and just because you eat something should not actually, I don't actually, what is that, intrude upon your liberty. So I
mm,
think these are actually hardliners that needs to be addressed by the
mm,
state machinery. I don't
mm,
want to politicize it. I don't want to religious, I mean, give religious inclination towards what somebody eats or not eat, but
mm.
rather, as a citizen of India and as an abiding citizen, I believe that we have the freedom, and that freedom and liberty should be respected by the others. So I
Yeah.
think that is what I will comment on. Yeah.
Yeah, it is especially hypocritical considering a lot of Meiteis also eat beef, but they are not getting targeted. And if other non-Hindu people are eating beef, then they are getting targeted. This
In
is
fact,
a
there are,
strange kind of hypocrisy.
yeah, in fact, there are Hindus also who eat beef,
Mm,
really.
mm,
Let's say not hardcore Hindus, but Hindus who are liberal in that sense and
mm,
are actually not religiously professing their faith in
mm,
Hinduism. These people also do consume beef. So it should not be construed as a problem,
mm,
because why
mm,
should we kill somebody, or why should we
mm,
uh, hurt somebody,
mm.
human being, a fellow human being, just because of consuming what he or she likes?
Yeah.
So in that sense, human lives are precious, and it should be protected. And the Constitution of India and the law of the land should actually intervene and make sure that the lives of every citizen is protected in that sense.
Yeah. Right now you are in Manipur and you are giving a tour. You are doing a tour of Manipur. Uh, what is the experience like? Before 3rd May and after 3rd May and right now, after 16 months from 3rd May 2023. What has been your experience? The contrast, if you could like to tell our viewers.
There is a huge contrast, or otherwise, I'll put it this way, difference between what is heard from distance and what is actually happening at the ground level.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that I'm in Manipur for a while,
Mm-hmm.
because of my academic assignments,
Mm-hmm.
so I am not only focused or otherwise um, inclined to my academic assignments, but I also try and observe what is actually taking place and happening at the ground level. And I have seen and observed the conditions of the poor people, especially the internally displaced persons, people, and their children languishing in relief camps, and the, so to say, the condition of the relief camps are not actually conducive for them to have a normal live a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
And as an educationist and as an academician or a scholar who is actually engaged in education, I also try and look at the kind of the plight of these students, especially uh, of those belonging to internally displaced person, and they are not able to get proper education. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever we could garner, the Kuki Students Organization General Headquarters and all the uh, district KSO groups are doing is leaders are doing is that they try and plead to every philanthropic organizations, and from whatever they can garner from uh, you know uh, from kind-hearted people. That's how the KSO is running a community schools to give education to the children of those internally displaced people. And I'm telling you, I don't know how far this will run, but I'm shocked at the level of response from the government. Now, I'm not expecting anything from the valley to come and aid the
Mm-hmm.
suffering of the Kuki people, but then we have also the district commissioner. We also have the uh, general education officers in the districts.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a huge gap that needs to be bridged when it comes to ensuring, uninterrupted education for children of the internally displaced people. And that is why I say uh, what I heard from distance is totally different from what is actually happening at the ground level. And the level of suffering and the level of pain and anguish suffered, I mean, gone through by people, internally displaced people, is immeasurable. Because you have the state in Imphal, you have in the valley, you have the state government still functioning very well, and you have aids coming from the government directly, whereas in the hills you have almost absence of aid coming from the government, but rather only from those good hearts and philanthropic organizations who care for uh, the sufferings of the Kuki people. And I don't know, like I said, how long will this last? So it is high time that the district administrations from the side of the government wakes up and adequately cater to particularly the educational needs of the children languishing in relief camps.
So, are you in a way, suggesting that the cookies in government, they also haven't, they haven't been able to like deliver access to services as you would have liked?
Yes. Access to the kind of services that we need at the moment from
Mm,
the government
mm,
at the level of the district. Although it is there. I'm not saying it is absent, totally absent. I'm not saying it
mm,
is totally absent. It is there, but
mm.
it is not adequate. It is
It is
not
not
adequate.
adequate.
Yes.
Yeah, understood. Okay, MTFD also did a press conference after you guys did a press conference. Maybe the grown-ups were scared that the cookie students are running the show, and they have run with the hair, and they have done the first attack on the narrative that has been projected against you. But in their press conference, I was a bit taken back when they said that certain villages have been made to show that they exist so that people can loot money from Manrega. In a way, they are, making the direction move towards the cookies also. So I find it very problematic because, population can increase and a tribal population automatically will have tribal and minority Dalits automatically they have a higher replacement rate. This is natural. In
Right.
all over India, this is natural. Okay, marginalized communities have a higher TFR. Okay, so why why put your foot into the idiotic narratives created by the Godi media or created by the BJP? Because these are not issues. There is a community that has fought for India's independence, that is the Kuki, Zomi, and Mar, and the
Mhm.
Mizos. And there is another community, the Meiteis, who have been fighting against India for so long. So
Right.
if the population of Kuki, Zo increases, what's the harm in that? Why say it like this?
I think this question was also raised initially by the Meitei community, the civil society, and also um, one of the MLA, Mr. Sapam, in his interaction with Karan Thapar
Hmm,
in his interview, The Wire, and he has been, what is that, befittingly debunked
hmm,
actually on the idea or on the allegations that the growth of population of the Kuki people or the Kuki-Jo people is actually unnatural in that sense in the increase. So I think the ITLF in making that statement, I think uh, should have also actually understood and addressed that the growth in population happens not just amongst the Kuki community, but
hmm,
also within, I mean, amongst every community for that matter in India, right?
hmm, hmm,
So, and also one must also understand, and it has been time and again reiterated even in media and also in interviews, that one must understand the culture, the tradition, the customs of the Kuki tribal people. These are tribal people, very unique in their practices, and like we said, once the growth of the village is reached a certain amount of say numbers, then the elders in the family will eventually what is that, allow the second son, the second brother in the family, to shift to another house or village, and even eventually that brother will again start another village, and
hmm,
eventually the village again will grow to maturity, and
hmm.
that happens, I mean, within the culture and practice of the community, the Kuki community. So in that sense, uh, have this imagination that within a span of 10 to 20 years, how many villages can actually mushroom, right, because of the population growth.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it is
So it's a
not
sociology question. It's a sociology question. While
exactly.
the people are unable to understand the sociology of cookie society.
Exactly, exactly. I imagine once the winter
Hmm,
season comes, from
hmm,
starting from October, November, December, and it will go until say March, April. You see it's become a marriage season in Manipur and even amongst the Koki community.
hmm,
You'll see a lot of young people getting married. And
hmm,
imagine this has happened and has been a practice for 2 decades, 3 decades. So for sure and certain, the population growth will increase. So
Because forward community is very late and they normally have one child policy, which is
true,
not the case with
which is not the case in our
marginalized
community.
communities.
Yes.
Yeah, this
No,
is a very this is a pan India story. Why take it upon as guilt? It was very weird for me to see this kind of apologia coming from the ITLF and the MTFD. So, anyways, thank you for setting the point straight from a sociological point of view.
let
So
me make
last,
let
uh,
me make one more point
uh,
regarding regarding putting their feet
mm,
into what is the soul water,
mm,
when they say that it is because of the hunger for money
mm,
and trying to actually uh, make use or otherwise make personal gains out of the Manrega. I
mm.
think that is actually uh, unfounded and immature view of the Kuki society, for that matter. Like you said,
I would say
having an
elder
immature
cookies.
understanding. Huh?
I would say elder
Imma-
cookies,
Right,
not
right.
the cookie society, because I think somewhere down the line it is the elder cookie so who are failing the younger cookies. So I think
True.
we may discuss it in a later way in a different kind of forum, not exactly here. So two last questions to you.
Okay.
How would you solve the Manipur problem, and what can Indians like us do to help the Kukizos in Manipur so that their political demands of a UT or a Greater Mizoram or a separate state or a UT with legislative assembly is materialized?
For me, if I'm to solve the problem of Manipur,
Hmm.
it is important and pertinent that I understand the historical fault lines that is already drawn from a very long time. Actually, we have also seen pre-independence era, the
Hmm.
British anthropologists were actually the ones responsible in actually segregating these three communities, particularly the Nagas, the Kukis, and the Meiteis, depending on their, culture, traditions, and their way of life. So this cannot be ignored. And in fact, it is actually this fault lines that is already drawn even pre-independence period that continues to exist. I'm not putting the blame like Bimol or
Hmm.
Koizam always do, not on the Britishers, but actually I respect and appreciate for actually segregating us in that sense because of the uniqueness that each community profess. So
Hmm.
for me, in order to bring peace, it is important that I maintain that these fault lines, these boundaries are maintained. In the sense, now that the relationship has gone so strained, right? So strained, it is best that we keep these three communities separately. Why
Hmm.
I'm saying this is because this is not the beginning. Such violence and conflict has had happened, but then the level of gravity and the quantum of violence that we have seen in this case is actually unimaginable. So in
Hmm.
that sense, in order to prevent such
Hmm.
kind of fallouts again in the future between
Hmm.
any communities, be it Meiteis and the Nagas and the Kukis,
Hmm.
it is best that we separate these three, giving them their desired and the autonomy that they duly deserved, so that they remain as good neighbors, and that
Hmm.
this strained relationship must not actually be a hindrance towards progress and development of the communities that we talk about, and also India as a whole. So I think it is important that other Indians, so to say, people outside of Manipur, also
Hmm.
understand. Because many a time I got asked, why just this violence and you guys are, um, I mean, crying for separate administration and trying to, what is that, dismantle the territorial integrity of the state. I always reply, it is your lack of understanding of the history of actually hate and fault line that has already been drawn since
Hmm.
ages.
Hmm.
So now those fault lines, those mistakes should not be, the penalty should not be paid by
Hmm.
the young generations today who are not even aware or never a part of all this and has,
Mistakes.
yeah, all these mistakes.
Mm,
Therefore, it is important that you understand the history of Manipur and
mm,
the kind of hatred that is the seed of hatred that is already sown in every hearts. So
mm,
if India at all or the other Indians are really concerned about
mm,
peace and progress of its community in
mm,
Manipur, it is best that they vouch for separation of, I'm not
mm,
just saying the Meiteis and the Kukis, but if possible, also of the Nagas. I think that
mm,
way we will live and thrive
mm,
uh, within our own community for
mm.
ourselves, for India as a whole, and which is at the end of the day beneficial for India, right?
Yeah, I understood your point. See, if we apply Article 371, if we apply Article 3, then automatically there are three linguistic communities in Manipur. So, Manipur is a fabricated state, Bihar is a fabricated state, Orissa is a fabricated state. Assam was a fabricated state, and Assam still is a imaginary state. There are so many languages within Assam and Bodo land. People are seeking Bodo land, people are seeking Ahom land, people are seeking Karbi Anglong. So I understand this thing. It's an administrative problem mainly, but the Hindu nationalists for a long time have been able to hoodwink, you know, the political demands of people who want to operate within the ambit of Indian constitution as something unholy, something anti-national. That has always been the plan. And if we look at Gujarat, for example, Gujarat was attached with Maharashtra, the Mumbai state, and then Gujarat got divided. Gujarat also is a artificial state, and there is Baroda, there is Saurashtra, and there is a larger Gujarat, as we might say. So I completely agree with you, and the larger question is why in the last 50 years, as far as Manipur state creation is concerned, why has Article 3 not been applied? This is a huge question that needs to be answered by the Parliament of India and by the government of India. And the buck stops not at the BJP's door only, it stops at all the governments, previous governments also. As to why
True.
can't we apply Article 3 in Manipur? It's very simple, and the state can be solved. The issue can be solved. So, my problem, another problematic question is, what will you do to solve this problem?
So certainly I'm not in a position or in power to come and mediate between these two communities, because for now anybody who speaks, let's say, who vouch for peace without political solution is vehemently opposed. So
Hmm,
for us, justice in the form of political political autonomy, that is
hmm,
separate administration in the form of uh, Puducherry, in the model of Puducherry, union territory with legislature, in the model of Puducherry is what we demand. And actually, that is, I think, for me, the way to peace. Like I said, we have already lost a lot of lives. We
hmm.
have paid a heavy penalty. The Kuki people have paid a heavy price
Hmm.
for
Uh, let me
the
let
war.
me let me interject. Would you not like for political demands to take place? First, we need peace. And do you think that without applying ASFA in the valley, peace can be achieved?
See, I think that's also a good question to actually address.
Hmm.
We have seen how AFSPA is being implemented in the hills,
Hmm.
and it is not implemented in the valleys.
Hmm.
So AFSPA, for that matter, being implemented in the valley, I think it is not an antidote to violence, not
Hmm.
at all. By saying that, I mean, even if you impose AFSPA in the valley, peace
Hmm.
is not assured,
Hmm.
right?
Peace is not assured.
Yes, violence and other form of say stray violence,
Disarmament.
yeah, can be put under control to a
Hmm.
certain extent, but peace, for that matter, AFSPA is not the answer.
Hmm.
So peace, like I said, will only reign in when justice is served to the victim community. Now
mm,
people keep saying, don't play the victim card. The Meiteis have also suffered equally. I'm
mm,
telling you, when the community, the majoritarian community, have the state
mm,
at their back, and it is the head of the state or head of the government that
mm,
is actually openly
mm,
declaring war against the annihilation of the Kukis, the genocide that has been carried out.
mm,
Where can, and I mean, rationally think, who will be the victims? A minority group, definitely, that is actually at war against the majoritarian community that has already declared war on them. So that
mm,
is why I said, since we are the victim here in this case, justice as a citizen of India should be a priority. Justice will only be served only when the
mm,
political demands in the form of separate administration, union territorial legislature is
mm.
duly given to the Kuki-Jo community. And I think that is the only way that will usher in peace in that sense. For me, justice precedes peace here.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But then, Lalboy Doungel ji, we must also understand that Meiteis did Pangal massacre, and if Pangals want to do a Dua Mehfil of their dead, the Meiteis don't like it. So they have the Meiteis. I have never seen a more a shameless community like the Meiteis. Like there have been genocides of Sikh, there have been genocide of Muslims, of other Hindus, of other Muslims, Bengalis, everything has happened. But somewhere down the line, there is a section of good majoritarian that tries to come together, tries to reform. Here in this case, there is no good Meitei. There might be two good Meiteis. One is Mr. Bablu and the other is Brinda, and they are not even 0.1% of the Meitei population. I'm sorry to say this, and
Right.
yeah, I'm really hope that peace comes, and whatever political demands of communities are, they are given due importance. But we must also understand that RSS is involved, and it is RSS run by Doungel and Meitei who kick-started this thing, and then Biren came, and then all the older VVIGs also came into the
True.
picture. This is where I have a bit of issue with the Kuki community, especially when the Kukis do not ask for resignation of their people inside BJP. What purpose is Kuki people being inside BJP serving them? Is Narendra Modi coming to you? Is Amit Shah making good on the promises that he is making? So I'm not asking you to answer this. I'm just putting this across to all my Kuki brothers and sisters. Like, what good is Palen Lal Hauki doing by staying inside BJP? He is, in a way, becoming insurance cover for Biren Singh. We, the Kukis can't make, the noise, proper noise, make shame the BJP government. So I thank you, Lalboy, for giving your time to me, and let's hope that everything becomes. I'll not say everything will become normal, but justice, insaf, or Kuki-Jo is established or achieved in real time and quick time. Uh, Thank you for watching Dent News. Please like, share, subscribe, and remember our tagline: democratize your
Thank you
nation.
very much for having me